God, I hate creepers. What? Oh. Good evening, and welcome to Astrocraft News. I'm N-Body, and here are this week's headlines. In today's Astro Chat, we'll discuss where the sun gets its energy from and why it's the color that it is. Streets and homes, we'll take a look at the government's housing and infrastructure plan. Followed by a 4-hour analysis of why counting sheep makes people... Hello, my stars and galaxies. My name's Body, and welcome back to Astrocraft. On today's episode, we're gonna build the little collection system for the mob farm up there, but I also thought it'd be cool if we could actually get started building a starter home. I did something here. I'm actually not quite that happy with it, so I'll turn that down in a minute. But before we do that, I thought it'd be cool if we could actually look at the road system that I'm thinking of putting down, and that we'll probably start putting down at least some form of marking of it this episode. But let's do the first thing I mentioned first, by finishing the mob farm. Well, the time lapse makes it look like it was so easy, but that took some time. Let's actually take a closer look at it real quick. Whoop. So I've got some cobblestone here from when a creeper exploded and this fell out. The heck just happened? I should have been caught by that ladder. Oh well. So anyway, we've got a system where pillar up here and I can show you. We've got all the mobs are being pushed by those shields. Let me turn down the mobs. They're getting a bit annoying. There we go. That's better noise level. So the mobs are being pushed from their platforms by those pillars off of the platforms onto the conveyor belts, which then, with water, because sometimes the spiders would climb up the side. So that then gets pushed down into this conveyor belt, and then here there's lava with a fan blowing hot air onto them, killing any mobs that get close. I've then got some funnels hooked up to these chests. Funnels and the fans and the conveyor belts are from the Create mod, of course. So the fans blowing through lava makes hot air, which damages you or enemies and sets them on fire. Actually, it burns anything. And the funnels will pick up items and put them into the chests directly. And so if we go down here, we can see, I've already organized it a little bit and taken quite a bit of string myself, but we can see that there's quite a few things being produced. I've yet to make a AFK platform or AFK at it, but I think I'll do that tonight. Let's transition though to the next project for today, which is the road network. So here's a top-down view of the island again. The black represents the roads that I want to build and the networks I kind of want to get to today, whereas the different boxes represent different parts of people's bases or shops. So the yellow-orange is my current base, as well as the shop I have for mending and Silk Touch books. Red represents roughly where I want to build a village or trading hall. Purple is Smallvark space. It has 2 parts, and the greenish teal is Partimsomnia space. The bottom yellow-green box is just a little spawn area, and I want to make that fancier, but we'll get to that in a future episode. So for today, I kind of want to just start with the north-south roads, maybe mark out a little bit more, connecting it to my base, connecting it to some of the other bases that have popped up. We'll see what we can get to. And we'll also have to figure out how many resources we have, because I've got another project in mind later for which I'll need grass, but this also requires grass, and the time lapses I did before, I was only able to gather so much, so let's figure it out. Either way, I'm going to start with the southernmost point and work my way up. Alright, progress update. I've officially run out of grass, so I'm kind of just replacing the last of the north-south street with some dirt in hopes that the grass will grow faster than the mycelium grows back. Gosh, these are loud. Anyway, let me turn that down as well. Blocks turn down, and there we go. Okay, so just kind of replacing the last of the north-south road because I've run out of grass for this project. I still have some more grass, but that's for the next thing coming up. But north-south road is mostly done now. Just got to get to the northernmost tip. We've got 2 Astroneers over here. I want to say this is Mephiston stuff, but I'm not 100% sure. And then we've got Mode Hopper here, and he's even got a little honey farm with little bumblebees. Oh, I'm so tempted to come in here with Dinnerbone name tags. I'm gonna have to do that eventually. But yeah, so we've even got some extra shops that have been built. I saw these when I was building the road, but I forgot to hit record. So let's take a look, because this one just went up as I was building. 3 stacks for 1 diamond, 3 rows for 7 diamonds. I'm guessing, based off of the look, I'm guessing he's going to sell sticks. No, rockets, of course. But over here, we've got Mode Hopper's We've got Mode Hopper's giant medieval tower with scaffolding all around it, but he's still working on that. He's doing a fantastic job so far. Like, really like it. And then here he's got a shop called The Sweet Spot. Yeah, nice. Let's see. 16 for a diamond, 32. Oh, for a diamond. Ooh. I don't need honeycomb, The Sweet Spot. Welcome to The Sweet Spot. You'll be, oh God. Gosh darn it. Oh God, I love puns. Let's see, 2 stacks per diamond. Quartz, I can get that from my villagers, but I like the trident. It looks really cool. And this one we've seen before. So yeah. All right, well, with this road at least laid out, you know, we've got from spawn all the way to the northernmost tip, and just one way, sadly. I'm gonna have to get some more grass between episodes and maybe continue doing this in the next few episodes, or just as time goes on. But it's not meant to be grass, it's just putting it out there for now so that we can actually see where things are gonna go. Eventually, I want to expand it to being throughout the entire island, as well as decorated and, you know, making it look nice. Not just grass road, but like a genuine Centurion style road, or cyberpunk, or whatever the people's builds and desires are. By the way, this is another Astroneer who recently joined us. He technically was whitelisted on the server before, but he hadn't played for a long time, so he will be joining us. His game name is Sturradian, which is an astrophysics reference because he's another astrophysics PhD student as well, just like all of us on the server, actually. Since I'm out of grass for the path, I guess it's time to get to the third project for the day, which is going to require some more grass and some tearing down of this building, which I don't like tearing down buildings, especially when I have to use a sit, touch, shuffle to get the glass. So maybe instead of you watching me tear this down block by block, we instead switch it to a second time lapse for the episode? Yeah, let's do that. Let's switch on to the time lapse. And while we're here, let's also terraform this place and build our new base. Well. Would you look at that? I'm quite happy with how this turned out. I still want to work on the underneath of the roof and maybe even work on the roof itself a little bit if I could fly. Work a little bit on the roof itself. It's not perfect, but I am quite happy with how it turned out. Need to add some texturing, some details. Same goes for the inside. Of course, I need to add an interior, but that can all come eventually. I want to add, let me sleep real quick. Perfect. I want to add a second layer on top. I just don't know how I want to do it yet. I'll have to figure it out. But for now, I'm quite happy with it. Probably going to move my bed in here at some point. Decorate my storage similar to how B00-100 does it. Make each storage area have a purpose so that I know immediately what's where. But back here, I want to make a hidden spiral staircase where you can press a button, maybe one of the ones out here or something, and it'll just, boom, appear. But that type of staircase is going to be part of the MC Tech trials eventually that I'm doing. So I may have to wait until then because if you haven't heard about them yet, I've started doing MC Tech trials with some of my friends. The idea is to build a random contraption every week. We'll set a challenge of what it is. We'll announce it on Twitter and maybe on Instagram. And so once a week, you have to build a contraption. The only rule is you're not allowed to look up someone else's build on it. You're allowed to look up basic circuits, but if the brief is build a piston door, then you're not allowed to look up any type of piston door. So we're doing that because I've copied so many builds of people in the past, and because of that, I still don't know how it all really works. So I'm finally wanting to learn. Anyway, side note. With that, I think that's all the time I have today for builds and the like. Yeah, I got a horse. I'll tell the story of that next time. That's all the time I have for builds, so let's get on over to the Astro Chat. I thought we'd look at the sun, try to understand a bit how it gets its energy, why it's the color it is, and what better way to do that than to actually fly on out from this planet and fly on over to the sun. The sun, like all stars, shines continuously throughout its entire lifetime, and it shines with a very particular color and spectrum. But the energy where this comes from is created at its core, which is filled with hydrogen. This hydrogen is so hot that it's been stripped of its electron and is basically just a proton. So you have a bunch of protons all floating in a electron soup, and it's so hot and dense that the protons can get pushed together until they form a helium, which is just 2 protons. However, being just 2 protons is very unstable, so one of the protons will actually switch into a neutron, but to conserve charge, it will give off its charge in the form of a positron, which is an anti-electron. It's exactly like an electron, just has a positive charge instead of a negative charge. But because it no longer contains 2 protons, it's now hydrogen again. Both processes release energy in the form of photons, which can then travel through the star, interacting with all the things in between the surface and the core, and will attenuate or change the energy of the photon in such a way that it will actually form a spectrum, which we refer to as a black body, which is determined only by the temperature of the star. And the temperature is regulated by energy production. If we crank up the energy production, we increase the temperature and we change the spectrum to be on the more energetic side. For example, if it was a red star and we increased the energy, it would become more and more green and then eventually more and more blue, because blue light is way more energetic than red light is. So, knowing that, we can kind of put the sun onto this spectrum as well. We know its temperature at the surface, and that would put the black body spectrum's peak to be actually in the green regime. But because of how much of the other colors are coming through, it looks whitish yellow to us. So that is how the sun works, roughly speaking. I skipped over a few things, but that's because I'm trying to get everyone on board with it. If you're still in school and just interested in astrophysics, or if you just never studied physics but like astro, I want to try and bring everyone along. So I'm trying to explain it as accurate as I can, but without going into too many details. Either way, I'm just gonna hang out here a little bit longer, work on some furniture things, maybe some interiors, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. And Body out.